Title and thumbnail should hint at it. Let me get right into the topic. So the reason why I didn't release these particular videos is due to how New Genesis is bringing a lot of changes, or it might still have the same thing, but we will have to see. And then the big one, the huge one to why I didn't continue with this is because there's a different mentality, mindset, and certain items that are popular in Japan are not popular in global. And after I went over there in global and did my visit and saw these different mentalities, mindset, different items, different quirks and perks here and there, there's a lot of differences. And you got to be careful because especially when it comes to like saying you would want to invest in stuff, you don't know if it's going to have that same effect. Now, I did give warnings when I did talk about some of these items. The one that I kind of regret talking about in the past when some global players asked me what they should invest in is the weapon stealth camo. Now, you can still get a good profit off of it, but the trade-off isn't that great. And this is me going into examples of differences. Note that also when it comes to these examples as well, they may differ depending on what ship you're on as well. I could say that some of the stuff that I might showcase is not the same in global, and then not only that, depending on what ship you're on, those prices might vary as they might be different as well. So pretty much anything market related, I labeled it as the gambling method because of the fact that you don't really have full control over all the variables that will play in effect when it comes to you playing with the market. There's the fixed method, which is pretty much your weekly ARX missions, your client orders from Yerks. Those are guarantees. Daily orders are another thing. Anything that can give you a fixed amount of meseta because you completed an objective and you can get it right off the bat, that is a fixed method. You trading certain weapons and units to get grinders, which is then, well, excuse me, trading in weapons and units to get XQs, which then you turn into grinders, which then you get meseta off of. That is a fixed method as well. But anyways, going back to my example, the one thing that I know that I talked about was weapon stealth. Now, the weapon stealth is very expensive on the Japanese side because you can't easily get this. This used to be an old item, and the only way you can get this camo is if you were playing in the beginning. Now, they took it out eventually, I don't know when, but they took it out. And because of that, and especially with the poses, and then also the fact that maybe you want to just hide your weapon, this has a lot of value. Now over there in global, you have the mission badge shop, and it has that stealth camo. For Japan, it is not available in the mission badge shop. So over there in global, it costs 100 medals, 100 of the mission badge currency to get this camo. You can also buy it off of the market, and I would say buy it off of the market more than trading a bunch of your mission badges, so you can save those items. But the thing is, this thing over here, especially on my ship, is now 2,204,999,998. That is different from that of global. Global shouldn't be that high. If it is, then I'll be surprised, but on all 4 of those ships on global, it shouldn't be at this cost. In Japan, it is different, and it will vary depending on which ship you're on. It may not be as expensive on other ships. Note that ship 2 is a bit notorious for having stupid prices, but this weapon stealth camo is at 2 billion. 2 goddamn billion. And this is just one of the many examples. Now, if I were to go to the market and show augments and affixes, this will vary upon the different ships as well, but if I decide to show you guys what the price of Crack 5 is on units, you can see that it will vary from that of global. This thing is costing around 18 mil, roughly around 19 mil. The question is that the same price over there in global? And this is the big thing that I kind of had to tackle when it comes to talking about investments, especially for this game, because there is a different mentality mindset from that of global and Japan. Now, there are some obvious items you could invest in. Let's talk about collab items. Now, I don't have a bunch of collab items on this character. I would have to swap to a different character because I'm using my other characters as storages, especially with certain items. So I'm gonna go on my character new. She's a cosplay from Kill la Kill. I'm gonna go on her because she has most of my lobby actions, I think. But that's the big reason to why I didn't really stress on this, because it it's something you have to consider, especially if there are two versions of the game. And also note that once again, New Genesis may play the same sort of thing that you can do from PSO2 into NGS, but I don't know. I have to see and I have to experiment and I have to toy around with it and see if it can do that. So go to character storage, and then actually I think she's the one with a lot of my fashion items. No, there's a couple of these collab items. So some of these lobby actions, they should be a collab item. I think this is Konosuba's, and you can see that this thing is selling for 105 mil. I think when it was first released, it was like roughly around 20 mil. It was like 10 mil, 20 mil. Yeah, this is the Konosuba one. And as you can tell from the market, there's only 2 of these items that are available. Now, I think I also have some Persona stuff unless I put it up on the market. I think I put some of the Persona stuff up on the market. What's this one? Oh, this should be Persona 3. So let me copy and paste that one. 615. Nope, that is not it. That was something else. I think I'm selling one of the lobby actions over there. Over in my shop. Unless someone bought it out already. And if you're wondering how I can figure out what lobby action is Persona 3, it's because there's the lobby action number, then there's like a number in those brackets. This should be the Persona 3 one. The Persona 3 one, I actually invested in this item. Or some people might label me as something else, or using said technique as something else. But pretty much, I already had this lobby action unlocked. What I decided to do was put a good chunk of money off to the side and buy this item at a certain cost. Back then, for the Japanese side, when I bought it, I think I spent a good 500 mil on a good chunk of collab items, and I bought 2 of the Persona 3 lobby action. I sold one roughly around maybe 400 mil, I think, and then this one I'm trying to sell at this high price. So the investment that I put down was 500 mil, and I already got a good chunk of it back by selling one of these. And note that these items weren't the only ones that I invested in. I invested in some other collab items, lobby actions in particular, for 500 mil. So I gain a lot out of that. You buy low, sell high, pretty much. And some people might say a couple of things, give their opinions about such a method, but hey, look, it's a market. And if you're free to play, you're kind of desperate to try to get as much money as you can. And that's the thing, I hoarded the living shit out of certain items that are now expensive. And the reason why you would want to even do investments in the first place is because it will grow. If you put down a down payment of, let's say, 1 million on a particular item that's not really popular, and you play the waiting game, it can build up to stupid numbers. Now, it may not be able to build up to a stupid number, but the thing is, it is growing. You are pretty much replacing your actual physical meseta sense into an item that can grow over time to the point where you are going to get a profit regardless of what it is. So for example, I did buy some of the New Genesis stuff, and some of these outfits weren't really at 31 mil, but you can see that it is slowly going to a stupid number. So this is why you would want to play the waiting game and you would want to invest. Do you have to spend a lot of money on a bunch of these high-end items? No, but if you're able to wait it out and then sell it at a good time or sell it whenever, then that is something you'll be able to get a profit. This is why I would stress investments. Like, the concept of it isn't foreign. You can do it in other video games and you can do it in real life as well. However, you have to be careful of other factors such as a revival, such as, someone having a huge stockpile of these things and just undercutting you. And then you have to be conscious of who else might do the same thing that you are doing. Because even though you are in your own world, there's other people that's going to have the same mindset as you, and they might gamble on the fact that, hey, look, this item is quite popular, let me actually buy a lot of these, and now you got competition. So it's not it's an easy topic to kind of just gloss over and just say, hey, look, this is what you would want to do. But at the same time, you want to address all these other factors and variables because it's not going to be a guarantee that you're going to get a bunch of money right off the bat. once again, I played the waiting game, and I just spent a good chunk of meseta here and there. The moment that I got back into this game, somewhere around like 2019, at the end of episode 5 on the Japanese PSO2, I kind of, well, what I decided to do was actually do the investment path, and someone is kicking me. But I decided to do a bunch of investments because I figured out, hey, look, this is actually going to grow in due time, and I already saw an example of that when I invested a good chunk of items from Near Automata, and they did build up. So that's pretty much it with this video, and once again, I might revisit this when NGS is out, granted that it follows the same thing. And I might as well whisper said person. But that is pretty much it for this video, and I'm trying to sell a bunch of these items. I am going to be doing a giveaway over here on the Japanese side, where if I haven't seen you ever in game, and if you're new, or like if I just bumped into you from the time that I started to do a bunch of these streams and whatnot, you might be able to participate in my giveaway event, where some of these items are going to be handed out. Some of them might be in the, what is it, the 8 digits, some of them might be in the 9 digits, so it could be a couple hundred mils, or it could be like 50 mil or whatnot. It could also be lower end stuff, which is only like 10 mil or something. But I will have a future video where it will go into a bit more details about that. It will vary in terms of the hairstyles, the lobby actions you can get. It could be some outfits, it could be some accessories, it could also be some voices. I do have a bunch of voices. I think I have like several famous actors that I'm just sitting on, and I might hand one of those out. But yeah, pretty much that is it for this video. I just want to explain why I didn't go heavy into the marketing aspect, because there's a bunch of things you had to be aware of. It's not like I can easily gloss it over and say like this is what you want to do, like kind of gamble and invest, but at the same time you had to be conscious of all these other little things that do play a factor into how you can actually get a bunch out of it. In all honesty, I would just say invest in something at a low cost and then forget about it, and then come back and be like, oh wait, how much is this item? What is this item? I don't remember this item. Like, purposely forget about it, so you don't need to keep tabs. But the other drawback to that is if you forget about it and then they do a revival and you have that particular item, that's gonna hurt you. So I don't know if they're gonna do the same thing over there in NGS. We shall see, and if they do, then I might make a video addressing it. But there's a good chunk of ways to get meseta, and the best way for me personally to get a lot of it was through affixing, playing with the market, and then also doing these investment methods. Now, once again, some people can go into arguments saying that this is like something you shouldn't do, but hey, look, once again, if you're free to play and you're desperate and you want to try to spoil your character, spoil your account as much as you can without paying as much, then this is a viable method. This isn't new, and once again, you can find this sort of thing in real life and in video games. So it's like, it is what it is. If you're going to complain about someone getting rich and not doing the same thing, that's kind of on you for not doing said research or methods. Like, might sound like if I'm greedy and all that, but hey, look, there's a thing of like, I don't want to spend a lot of my real life money on a game, especially if there's a chance that it might get terminated and I lose all of that. So you gotta think about it in the long run. You gotta figure out all these factors and conditions and all that. But that is it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.